Thousands of brand new GMC trucks are sitting unsold on dealer lots right now. 0 miles, no buyers. What happens to them next is something dealers never tell you. Stage 7. The 90-day clock starts ticking. Here's something most people don't realize about car dealerships. When a brand new GMC truck arrives on the lot, the dealer doesn't actually own it, not in the way you'd think. They're financing every single vehicle through something called floor plan financing, essentially a massive revolving line of credit from GM Financial or a third-party lender. The dealer borrows money to buy each truck from GM, and the lender holds the title until that vehicle sells. For the first 60 to 90 days, interest rates are usually low, sometimes even zero. GM wants dealers to stock inventory, so they make it cheap to do so at first. But the moment that grace period ends, the interest starts compounding. Current floor plan rates are tied to SOFR, the Secured Overnight Financing Rate, plus 200 to 400 basis points. That puts most dealers at 6 to 8% annually on a $65,000 Sierra Denali. That works out to roughly $7.60 per day in interest alone. Doesn't sound like much? Wait, there's also what the industry calls holding costs. Insurance on every vehicle, because if something happens on the lot, the dealer is liable. Property taxes in states that charge them, lot maintenance, security, detailing to keep the trucks looking fresh week after week. When you add it all up, interest, insurance, taxes, maintenance, opportunity cost, the total daily holding cost runs between $30 and $50 per vehicle. Industry average sits around $40. Let that sink in. $40 every single day per truck. A truck that sits for 60 days costs the dealer $2,400 in holding costs. At 90 days, that's $3,600. At 180 days, 6 months, the dealer has lost over $7,000, and they haven't made a single penny in profit yet. Now here's where it gets ugly for GMC specifically. The 2026 Sierra models are moving relatively well right now, about 22 days supply on average, but that's not the whole story. The real problem is leftover inventory. According to industry data, there were still 85,000 unsold 2024 models sitting on dealer lots as we entered late 2025. These are trucks that have been aging for over a year. Some 2023 models were still unsold heading into 2025, technically 2 years old without ever having an owner. Across the entire U.S. market, over 3.2 million new vehicles are sitting on dealer lots right now. That's roughly 92 days of supply industry-wide. And every single day, that $40 clock keeps ticking. So when a GMC truck hits that 90-day mark without selling, the dealer starts getting nervous. The bleeding has begun, and they'll do almost anything to stop it. What comes next is where things start getting dark. Stage 6. The desperate discount phase. When a truck crosses that 90-day threshold, dealers enter panic mode. The first strategy is obvious. Slash the price. Sales managers pull up their aging reports, identify the trucks that have been sitting too long, and start authorizing discounts that would have been unthinkable when the truck first arrived. But here's what most people don't understand. There are multiple layers of discounts happening simultaneously, and most of them are completely invisible to buyers. The first layer is manufacturer incentives. These are rebates that come directly from GM, not the dealer. Right now, in early 2026, GM is offering up to $3,500 in customer cash on Sierra 1500 models. Trucks with the 2.7-liter Turbo Max engine qualify for an additional $3,100 bonus cash incentive. Stack those together, and you're looking at $6,600 in manufacturer discounts before the dealer even touches the price. These incentives exist because GM knows dealers are sitting on aged inventory. They're subsidizing the discounts to help move metal. The second layer is dealer cash. This is money GM pays directly to the dealer for selling slow-moving vehicles. It never shows up on any paperwork you see. On aged inventory, dealer cash can run $1,500 to $3,000 per vehicle. The third layer is holdback. Every new GM vehicle has a holdback built into the invoice, 3% of MSRP. On a $60,000 Sierra, that's $1,800 the dealer receives from GM after the sale, regardless of the selling price. This is why dealers can claim they're selling at invoice and still make money. The holdback is hidden profit that doesn't appear on any document you'll ever see. The fourth layer is volume bonuses. GM pays dealers quarterly bonuses based on sales targets. Hit your number, get an extra $200 to $500 per vehicle. Miss it, get nothing. This is why end-of-month deals can be so aggressive. A dealer 2 trucks away from their bonus will practically give those vehicles away to hit the target. When you stack all these layers together, the discounts on aged inventory can be staggering. On leftover 2024 and 2025 models, buyers should be negotiating 15 to 20% below MSRP just to offset the depreciation hit they'll take driving off the lot. On a $65,000 truck, that's $10,000 to $13,000 in savings. And informed buyers are getting those deals right now. But here's the dark side. Those massive discounts don't come from nowhere. They come from the dealer's margin, from G&M's incentive budget, and ultimately from the perceived value of the brand itself. When trucks routinely sell for $10,000 or $15,000 below MSRP, buyers start expecting those discounts. They stop paying full price. The cycle feeds itself. And for trucks that still won't sell even with massive discounts, the dealer has to get more creative. That's when things start getting ugly. Stage 5, the loaner and demo conversion. When discounts alone won't move a truck, dealers pull out their next trick. They put the truck to work. You've probably seen vehicles advertised as demos or service loaners at dealerships. These are trucks that have been driven by dealership employees or loaned to customers while their vehicles are being repaired. Here's what's really happening. That Sierra that's been sitting for 5 months without a buyer, the dealer titles it in the dealership's name, puts a few thousand miles on it, and converts it from new inventory to demo inventory. This accomplishes several things. First, it stops the floor plan interest immediately. Once the vehicle is titled, it's no longer part of the new car inventory accruing financing charges. The bleeding stops, at least from that source. Second, manufacturers actually pay dealers a monthly reimbursement for putting vehicles into service loaner programs. That helps offset some of the losses they've already accumulated. Third, it creates a marketing angle. Low mileage demo with full warranty sounds much better than truck that sat on our lot for 6 months because nobody wanted it. Fourth, once the vehicle has a few thousand miles on it, the dealer can reclassify it as a nearly new used vehicle. That designation allows for deeper discounts without damaging the perceived value of truly new inventory. But here's where it gets sketchy. Some dealers aren't exactly transparent about how these vehicles were used. They might list a truck as a demo when it was actually beaten on by service customers who didn't own it and didn't care. One dealership insider posted footage of a brand new Ford Bronco Sport Heritage Edition that a customer completely destroyed while using it as a service loaner. Cigarette burns on the seats, stains everywhere, damage throughout the interior. That vehicle became someone's discounted demo. The new buyer had no idea what happened to it. The warranty clock is another issue. When a dealer titles a vehicle as a demo, the factory warranty starts immediately, not when you buy it. If a truck sat as a demo for 8 months, you've already lost 8 months of warranty coverage before you even take delivery. And some dealers play games with the demo designation itself. They'll title a vehicle purely to stop floor plan interest, then park it in the back lot without actually driving it. If you see a demo with only 200 miles, that's suspicious. Ask questions. The demo game can work in buyers' favor if they know what they're getting. But for every informed buyer who scores a legitimate deal, there's another buyer who unknowingly purchases a truck that was abused, damaged, or misrepresented. This is the reality dealers don't advertise. Stage 4, the dealer trade shuffle. When discounts and demo conversions don't work, dealers start playing musical chairs with their inventory. It's called a dealer trade, and it happens constantly across the country. The concept is simple. A white Sierra Pro with the 2.7-liter turbo might sit for months at a dealer in Texas where everyone wants blacked-out AT4s with lift kits. But that same truck could sell in a week at a dealer in Minnesota where buyers prioritize fuel economy over aggressive styling. So dealers swap. The Texas dealer sends the white Sierra to Minnesota. The Minnesota dealer sends something else back. Both hope a different market will solve their problem. GM encourages this practice because it theoretically balances supply and demand across regions. A truck that's dead weight in one market might be exactly what someone's looking for in another. But here's what they don't tell you. Every time a truck gets shuffled to another dealer, it accumulates hidden wear. Transport costs, loading and unloading, parking lot shuffling, multiple people moving it, parking it, inspecting it. The odometer might still show 47 miles. But that number doesn't capture the reality of what happens during dealer trades. The truck has been loaded onto transport carriers, driven around multiple lots, and handled by dozens of people before you ever see it. And if a truck has been traded multiple times, That's a major red flag. When a Sierra bounces between 3 or 4 dealerships over several months, there's usually a reason. Maybe it's an extremely unpopular color. Maybe it has a bizarre option combination. Maybe there's something wrong with it that keeps getting discovered during pre-delivery inspections. You can sometimes identify multiple trade vehicles by checking the window sticker origin against the selling dealer. If the truck was originally allocated to a dealer in Florida, but you're buying it in Oregon, it's been moved at least once. Probably more. Multiple dealer trades also mean multiple opportunities for damage. Transport damage, lot damage, door dings from being parked next to other vehicles, scratches from being shuffled around. A truck that's been playing musical chairs across the country for 8 months is not the same as a truck that arrived last week. And for trucks that still won't sell after being traded around, that's when dealers face their worst nightmare. Quick thing, if you're realizing how much happens behind the scenes at dealerships, hit subscribe. I put out videos every week exposing what dealers don't want you to know. Stage 3, the auction nightmare. When all else fails, when the discounts don't work, when the demo miles don't help, when no other dealer wants it, the truck goes to auction. This is the option dealers hate most, because it almost always means losing money. A lot of money. Dealer-only auctions like Mannheim and Odessa are where the automotive industry's dirty laundry gets aired. These aren't public auctions. You need a dealer license to participate. And the prices reflect wholesale reality, not retail fantasy. Here's how it works. The dealer consigns the unsold truck to an auction house. It gets inspected, photographed, graded for condition, and listed for upcoming sales. Other dealers from around the country bid on it. The highest bidder wins, pays the fees, arranges transportation, and takes ownership. The auction houses charge listing fees, transaction fees, and various service charges. The selling dealer also pays transportation costs to get the vehicle there, plus any reconditioning that was required to make it presentable. On a truck that was already underwater from months of holding costs, the total loss can be devastating. According to industry analysts, vehicles sold at auction typically fetch somewhere around rough trade-in value, which can be 30 to 40% below retail. That $65,000 Sierra the dealer couldn't sell? It might fetch $38,000 to $42,000 at auction. After fees and transport, the dealer is looking at a loss of $15,000 or more on a single vehicle. Multiply that across dozens of slow-moving units, and you're talking about dealerships hemorrhaging hundreds of thousands of dollars just to clear their lots. But here's the part that affects you as a buyer. That auction truck doesn't disappear. It gets purchased by another dealer, often a used car lot, a smaller franchise store, or an out-of-state dealer, and resold to consumers. Even if it has 47 miles on the odometer. Even if it's never had a retail owner. Even if it looks and smells completely new, the moment a new vehicle passes through auction, it's legally classified as used. The title reflects the ownership transfer. And the next buyer often has no idea they're purchasing a truck that sat unsold for 8 months before being dumped at wholesale. This is why vehicle history reports matter, even on vehicles that appear to be new. A brand new truck with auction history is a truck that nobody wanted. Multiple dealers looked at it and passed. There might be a legitimate reason, unpopular color, weird options, or there might be something wrong that isn't immediately obvious. The auction system is designed to move problem inventory quickly and quietly. The trucks get absorbed back into the retail market, cleaned up, and sold to buyers who never know the full story. It's efficient for the industry. It's terrible for transparency. And auctions aren't even the last resort. There's one more stage that's even darker. Stage 2, the fleet dump. Before resorting to auctions, some manufacturers and dealers have another option, fleet sales. When individual buyers aren't biting, dealers and manufacturers offload excess inventory to commercial fleet purchasers. Rental car companies like Enterprise and Hertz. Corporate fleets for businesses. Government agencies at every level. Fleet sales operate completely differently from retail. The prices are dramatically lower. Fleet buyers negotiate directly with manufacturers for volume discounts that individual consumers could never access. A Sierra that would sticker at $62,000 might go to a fleet buyer for $44,000. The dealer makes minimal profit, sometimes just a few $100s per unit, but they clear the inventory, stop the holding costs, and free up floor plan capacity. For the truck itself, Fleet life is brutal. Rental vehicles see abuse that would make any owner cringe. Dozens of different drivers who don't own the vehicle and have no stake in its longevity. Aggressive driving, minimal maintenance beyond what's legally required, maximum miles accumulated in minimum time. Corporate fleet vehicles are generally better maintained, but still see heavy use. Government vehicles vary wildly depending on the agency. Here's why this matters. Many fleet vehicles eventually return to the retail market as used inventory. That clean Carfax Sierra with 42,000 miles might have spent its first 18 months as a rental, cycled through 70 different drivers, and been beaten on daily before being cleaned up and sent to auction. A history report might show fleet use or rental, or it might not, depending on how titles were processed. This isn't hypothetical. It's happening right now at massive scale. Hertz alone reported record retail vehicle sales in early 2025 as part of their fleet refresh program. They're cycling out thousands of vehicles, many of them trucks and SUVs, directly into the used car market. Enterprise, Avis, and other rental companies are doing the same thing. These vehicles flood the market, often with relatively low miles, but hard lives behind them. A former rental Sierra is not worth the same as an identical privately owned Sierra. The rental lived a completely different life. Different drivers every week, no emotional investment in its care, maximum utilization with minimum maintenance. But dealers don't always make that distinction clear. A truck is a truck is a truck, as far as the sales pitch goes. Fleet sales aren't a solution to the unsold inventory problem. They're just a way to move the problem downstream to future used car buyers who don't know what they're purchasing. The fleet dump keeps the industry moving, but it creates a shadow market of vehicles with hidden histories that buyers rarely understand. Stage 1, the graveyard. Here's the darkest stage that manufacturers and dealers never want you to know about. When vehicles truly cannot find buyers through any normal channel, not discounts, not demos, not trades, not auctions, not fleet sales, they end up in storage lots. We're talking massive outdoor facilities, sometimes built on abandoned airfields, sometimes in remote industrial parks, designed to hold hundreds or even thousands of vehicles indefinitely. These are effectively car graveyards. The trucks sit exposed to the elements, sun beating down in summer, snow piling up in winter, rain, humidity, temperature swings, all taking their toll on vehicles designed to be driven, not parked for years. Tires develop flat spots from months of sitting stationary. Batteries drain and die. Seals dry out and crack. Brake rotors develop surface rust. Fuel systems can degrade if the gas sits too long. Cars are designed to be driven, not parked for years. A brand new Sierra that sits in a storage lot for 500, 600, even 800 days develops problems that would never exist if it had been purchased and driven normally. The scale of this problem is staggering. According to industry data from late 2025, 85,000 2024 models were still sitting unsold. As we approach 2026, that's up from 50,000 leftover 2023 models at the same point the previous year. Even more shocking, 8,000 2023 models were still unsold heading into late 2025. These vehicles are technically 2 years old in the eyes of buyers, yet dealers are still trying to move them as new inventory. What eventually happens to these trucks? Some get shipped to overseas markets where demand is different and regulations are more relaxed. A Sierra that won't sell in America might find a buyer in the Middle East or South America. Others get dismantled and destroyed, written off as the cost of doing business. The manufacturer takes the loss, scraps the vehicle, and moves on. In extreme cases, manufacturers offer buyback programs to help dealers recover costs on particularly toxic inventory. The vehicles get absorbed into corporate fleets, employee purchase programs, or simply removed from the market entirely. Every single one of those unsold vehicles represents real money lost. Floor plan interest, insurance, storage fees, depreciation eating away at whatever value remains. The graveyard is the industry's dirty secret. Billions of dollars worth of vehicles that nobody wants, slowly deteriorating while manufacturers and dealers figure out what to do with them. This is what happens to brand new trucks that never sell. Those are the 7 stages of what happens to GMC trucks that won't sell. The 90-day clock. desperate discounts, demo conversions, dealer trade shuffles, auction nightmares, fleet dumps, and finally, the graveyard, where trucks go to die. It's a system designed to keep inventory moving at any cost, and the costs are staggering. For dealers, for manufacturers, and ultimately for buyers who don't know what they're purchasing. Next time you see a brand new GMC sitting on a dealer lot, remember, that truck has a story. It might have just arrived, or it might have been sitting there for 8 months, shuffled between dealers, converted to a demo, and desperately discounted. The price tag won't tell you. The salesperson won't tell you, but now you know what to look for. If you want to learn which GMC trucks are losing value fastest, watch my video on the trucks that will be worthless in 2026. And if you want to avoid getting scammed, check out my video on GMC dealership scams you must avoid. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.